My name is Elena Vargas. I am 24 years old, a software developer living in Valencia. Last month I returned from a week in London, eager to collapse into my own bed. But when I entered the house, my heart stopped. The door to my bedroom was locked. I turned the handle, thinking it was a mistake. Then I saw it, a glowing neon sign shining through the crack. My parents had turned my room into my sister Valeria Castillo's live streaming studio. All my clothes, my books, everything I owned was piled up in a dusty shed behind the house. I stormed into the kitchen where Mom was drinking coffee. "What is going on?" I demanded. She did not even look up. "Your sister needs the space for her blog," she said, and my chest tightened. "Where am I supposed to sleep?" Mom pointed out the window toward the shed. "Sleep there or leave this house." Her words hit me like a slap. Don Javier Castillo sat there in silence. Valeria's voice echoed from my old room, laughing to a camera. I grabbed my suitcase, walked out, and never looked back. Months later my phone lit up with 39 missed calls from my sister and a message from Mom. "Where are you?" What happened next changed everything. Stay to discover how I turned their betrayal into my freedom. What would you do if your parents gave your room to a sibling and kicked you out? Comment your choice below. 1 month before I left home forever, the cracks in our family began to show during a tense dinner in Valencia. I had been working extra hours as a software developer, saving every cent for a dream trip to London. I wanted to treat my parents and give them a break from daily life. As we sat around the table with the smell of roasted potatoes filling the air, I shared my plan. "I will cover a week in London for you and Dad," I said, my voice firm, eyes fixed on Mom and Don Javier. "Just the two of you. A chance to create memories." My sister Valeria's fork clattered against her plate. She leaned forward with sharp eyes. "Why are you leaving us out?" she snapped, shaking her hair. Her boyfriend smiled beside her and added, "Yes, Elena, you are making good money coding apps. Why exclude us?" I clenched my jaw, trying to stay calm. "You owe me 8,000 euros, I said, looking at Valeria. "I have bailed you out for your blog equipment, your car payments, and you still have not paid me back. I am not your personal bank." The room fell silent. Mom's lips tightened and she slammed her glass of water, making the ice clink. "Elena, that is selfish," she said in a low, accusing voice. "Your sister is building an online career. She is about to go viral. You should be proud, not stingy." Don Javier, usually quiet, nodded slowly. "Family sacrifice is for the family," he said, his tone heavy as if I had betrayed some sacred rule. I could not believe what I was hearing. For years I had been the one covering their bills. The groceries when Dad's hours were cut, Mom's phone plan, even their internet so Valeria could post her lifestyle blogs. And now they were painting me as the villain. Valeria crossed her arms with a smug look on her face. "You are just mad because I am actually doing something big," she said. "Not everyone can sit behind a computer all day." Her boyfriend laughed, leaning back in his chair. "Come on, Elena, do not be a killjoy. Collaborate." My blood boiled. I gripped the edge of the table, nails digging into the wood. "I am not mad," I replied, my voice rising. "I am tired of being your ATM while you play influencer with my money." The argument exploded like a storm. Mom accused me of tearing the family apart. "You have always been jealous of her ambition," she said, pointing at me. Don Javier shook his head, muttering about how I had changed since succeeding in tech. Valeria added more fuel, claiming her blog was the future of the family and I was holding her back. Her boyfriend encouraged her with jabs about how I would never understand real struggle. I tried to explain how I had worked nights to pay their debts, how I had put my own dreams on pause, but no one listened. Their voices overlapped, a wall of guilt crashing down on me. I felt like I was drowning in their words. I stood up, my chair scraping the floor, the sound cutting through the chaos. "Enough," I said, my throat tight with rage. I could not look at them, at Mom's stare, Dad's disappointment, Valeria's smile. I left the dining room, my heart pounding. The next morning I called my friends Javier and Sofia. They had been my rock through every family fight, always ready with a couch or coffee. "I am going to London," I told them on the phone, my voice firm. "Are you coming?" They did not hesitate. "Of course," Javier said. "Let us make a trip to remember." Sofia added, "Forget the family drama. We have got you covered." I booked the tickets that day, my fingers trembling as I clicked confirm. I was not just planning a vacation. I was planning my escape. I rolled my suitcase through the entrance in Valencia, freshly back from a week in London with Javier and Sofia. Their jokes and late-night talks had lifted my spirits, and I hoped the distance had eased the tension from that horrible family dinner. All I wanted was to collapse in my bed and code in peace. But when I reached my bedroom door, a chill ran through me. A new lock gleamed under the hallway light. I turned the handle. Nothing. Soft music and laughter seeped through the crack. I knocked, my pulse racing. "Who is in there?" I shouted. The door swung open and my sister Valeria stood there, phone on a tripod, bright lights shining. "What are you doing in my room?" "Valeria," I snapped, my voice tense. She tossed her hair, smiling smugly. "It is my blog studio now. Do not make a drama." I pushed past her, breathing hard. My bed, my desk, my posters, everything was gone. Cameras, tripods, and the glowing neon live sign had erased my space. "Where are my things?" I demanded. She pointed toward the backyard. "In the shed." "Calm down." I stormed out. The afternoon chill stung my skin. The shed door creaked as I yanked it open. My clothes, books, and laptop were piled in damp boxes. Dust clung to my favorite sweater. My laptop, my coding lifeline, was exposed to the humid air. The betrayal burned in my chest, sharp and relentless. I grabbed the sweater and marched back to the kitchen where Mom was chopping carrots. "Mom, what is this?" I asked, holding up the sweater, my voice shaking with fury. Don Javier, sitting at the table with his coffee, spoke first, his tone soft but firm. "Your sister's channel is taking off. Elena, she needed the room." I blinked in shock. "So you threw my things into the shed?" Valeria's boyfriend Carlos rose from the sofa, pointing at me. "Do not ruin her success. Elena, they are just things." Mom stopped chopping. Her eyes narrowed. "Where am I supposed to sleep?" I asked, my voice rising. Mom pointed out the window toward the shed. "Sleep there or leave this house." Her words cut deep, final like a door slamming shut. While I stood stunned, my laptop pinged with an email from my programmer friend David. My hands shook as I opened it. "Elena, the source code of your app was posted on a forum by your sister's blog account. It is going viral." I froze, my vision blurred. My side project, months of work for a €50,000 contract, was now freely available for anyone to steal. Valeria had hacked my laptop while I was away and leaked my code to sabotage me. I ran back to her studio, my old room. "Valeria, did you steal my code?" I shouted, my voice hoarse. She did not look up, adjusting her camera. "Not my fault you left your laptop open." I turned to Don Javier, my eyes pleading. "Are you letting her do this?" He shifted uncomfortably, muttering, "She is just trying to stand out." Mom intervened, her voice icy. "Elena, are you exaggerating? She is using it for her brand." My world tilted. Valeria had not only taken my room, she had tried to destroy my career. David's email kept replaying in my mind. Programmers were already exploiting my work. I felt suffocated by my family's betrayal. I pulled out my phone and texted Javier. "They have gone too far. It is over." He replied instantly. "My house is open. Come now." I did not pack. I did not look back. I walked out the front door, my steps heavy but firm. I stayed at Javier's. My new chapter began on his uncomfortable couch. The weight of leaving my family still pressed on me, but I felt a spark of freedom. Javier's apartment in Valencia was small and messy with vinyl records and half-built circuit boards. But it was a refuge. The next morning over coffee, he slid his laptop across the table. "You need your own place," he said, searching rental listings, "something you can afford with your coding jobs." I nodded, my mind already racing. Sophia arrived an hour later, armed with a spreadsheet of apartments under €1,500 a month. "We are not leaving you here forever," she joked, her smile softening the blow. They sat with me, narrowing it down to a one-bedroom near the center. It had wooden floors, a small balcony, and rent exactly at €1,500. "This is it," I said, my voice firm for the first time in weeks. Javier patted my shoulder. "Let us go see it." We viewed the apartment that afternoon. The owner, a gruff man named Ricardo, showed us around. Sunlight poured through the windows, warming the empty rooms. I could already imagine my desk by the balcony, my laptop open, coding without interruption. "I will take it," I told Ricardo, signing the contract on the spot. Javier and Sophia helped me move the next day, carrying second-hand furniture up the stairs. Sophia joked about my wobbly bookshelf. "This screams chic coder," she laughed as we assembled it. By evening the place felt like mine, a new beginning, with no trace of my sister's neon signs or Mom's ultimatums. Back at Javier's, I had been working to save my app. Valeria's leak had spread my source code across forums. But I refused to give up. I rewrote sections, improving algorithms to make it better and stronger. One night I received an email from a tech startup in Barcelona. They had seen my forum posts defending my work and wanted a demo. I poured everything into preparing, polishing the app, practicing my presentation. The meeting was a whirlwind of nerves and adrenaline. I walked into their sleek office, laptop under my arm, and presented my vision. The CEO, a sharp woman named Marta, leaned forward, eyes fixed on my screen. "This is impressive," she said, taking notes. 2 days later, they offered me a €50,000 contract to license the app. I stared at the email, hands trembling in disbelief. "I did it," I whispered, smiling like a fool. I called Javier and Sofia to share the news. We met at a dive bar downtown, clinking cheap beer glasses. To Elena, who did not let her sister win, Sofia toasted warmly. Javier raised his glass to new beginnings. I felt a wave of gratitude for them, my chosen family, who had been there when my real family turned their backs. Back in my apartment, I set up my workspace, plugging in a second monitor I had treated myself to with the contract advance. Coding felt different now, like I was building something unstoppable. I started taking freelance jobs, small projects that grew my portfolio. Each paycheck felt like a brick in the foundation of my new life. One afternoon, while debugging code on my balcony, I realized how far I had come. No more shed, no more stolen code, no more family drama dragging me down. I was free to focus on my career, my dreams. I opened my laptop and began sketching a new app idea, one that could surpass the last. This was my life now, mine to shape. My new life was taking form. Small businesses were adopting it. Reviews poured in and my inbox flooded with feature requests. I leaned back, the cool night air brushing my face, feeling quiet pride. My apartment with its creaky wooden floors was my fortress, with no trace of my family's chaos. One morning I checked my Slack channel where I collaborated with other programmers. A message from a client, startup founder named Priya, caught my eye. "Elena, we need to talk about some rumors." My stomach tightened. I opened the link she sent, leading to a tech forum thread. Anonymous posts, clearly Valeria's work, claimed my app was built on stolen code and that I had faked my credentials. The lies were cruel, aimed at my biggest clients. I could almost see Valeria smiling behind her neon lights, trying to tear me down again. I texted Javier and Sofia in our group chat. "She's at it again." Javier replied instantly, "We have got your back." Sofia added, "Let us end this." We met at a downtown cafe, laptops open, strategizing. Sofia scanned the forum, pointing out inconsistencies. "These timestamps do not match," she said sharply. "They are from her blog's IP range." Javier suggested I write a response that was not defensive but transparent. I spent hours crafting a detailed post explaining the development of my app, the contract win, and screenshots of my code commits proving I built it from scratch. I hit send, heart pounding, and watched the thread shift. Programmers I had never met began vouching for me, highlighting the weak claims of the anonymous accounts. Priya replied, "Thank you for clearing this up. We are still with you." Javier and Sofia were not done. Sofia reached out to her friend Sarah, who ran a tech networking group in Barcelona. "She wants to meet you," she said, smiling over her coffee. "She is big in the startup world." I drove to Barcelona the following week, nervous but ready. Sarah was sharp and her energy contagious as she introduced me to her network. "Founders, developers, investors. Your apps are making waves," she said, handing me her card. "Let us collaborate." I presented ideas to her group, my confidence growing with every nod. By the end of the night I had invitations to 2 hackathons and a freelance offer from a promising startup. I felt like I was finally finding my place in the industry. Back in Valencia I kept pushing. My app reached 10,000 users and I launched a new real-time analytics dashboard that received enthusiastic reviews. Late nights coding became my rhythm, my balcony my thinking hub. Valeria's rumors faded as my reputation grew. Her lies were drowned out by my work. One afternoon Sarah called, offering me a speaking slot at a tech conference. "You are the real deal, Elena," she said. I smiled, my chest swelling with gratitude and defiance. I invited Javier and Sofia to celebrate at my place. Pizza boxes scattered across my small table. "To kicking ass," Sofia toasted, raising a soda can. Javier laughed about leaving the drama behind. I clinked my can against theirs, feeling anchored by their support. My new connections, Priya, Sarah, the programmers, were now my lifelines, not my blood family. I was building something bigger than myself and no one could take it away. 6 months had passed since I claimed my independence. My life in Valencia was stable. My app was thriving, my network growing daily. I was coding on my balcony on a crisp October evening when my phone lit up with a voicemail notification. At first I ignored it, focused on debugging a new feature. But it blinked again. 39 missed calls from Valeria. My jaw tightened. I had not spoken to her since she leaked my code and I was not about to start now. Then a message from Mom appeared. Where are you? I stared at the screen, a familiar unease spreading despite my better judgment, and played the voicemail. Valeria's voice was frantic, almost unrecognizable. Elena, we are in trouble. You have to help us. I deleted it, fingers cold, but another message from Mom followed. Call me now. I paced my apartment, wooden floors creaking under my steps. Curiosity won, so I called Mom back. Her voice was strained, not the commanding tone I knew. Your sister is in debt, she said. Tens of thousands for blog equipment, cameras, lights, editing software. I gripped the phone, my mind flashing to the neon-lit studio in my old room. Mom continued. We are selling the house to cover it. Your father is a mess. We need you. I heard Carlos in the background, his voice loud. Come on, Elena, do not be cold. Family supports each other. I snorted, my patience thinning. Family, I said sharply. You mean the ones who threw my things in the shed? Mom pleaded. Elena, we are losing everything. I hung up, my chest tight with a mix of anger and guilt. The next day I found a handwritten letter from Dad slipped under my door. It was short, his words shaky. We are sorry, Valeria made a mistake. Please help us keep the house. I sat on my couch staring at the paper. Memories of Dad's silence when Valeria took my room. When Mom gave her ultimatum. Flooded back. I crumpled the letter, my resolve hardening. I was not going back. I texted Javier and Sofia, needing their clarity. We met at a cafe, the smell of greasy fries filling the air. They are drowning in Valeria's mess, I said, sliding Dad's letter across the table. Javier read it, frowning. They made their choices, he said, handing it back. Sofia nodded, sipping her drink. You owe them nothing, Elena. You built your life without them. I drove to my old neighborhood the following week, not to help, but to see it myself. A for sale sign stood in the front yard. The house looked smaller, sadder than I remembered. Valeria was outside loading boxes into a van, her face pale. She saw me and stopped. Elena, please, she started, voice breaking. I interrupted, using her name to keep distance. Valeria, you chose this. You leaked my code, destroyed my work. She looked away, hands fidgeting. Mom came out, eyes red. We are family, she said, voice soft but desperate. Carlos appeared with arms crossed. Do not walk away, Elena. I shook my head. You walked away first. Don Javier stood by the door in silence again, shoulders slumped. I returned to my car, hands steady on the wheel. They had made their bed. Valeria with her reckless spending. Mom and Carlos enabling it. Dad never stepping up. I was not their savior. Back in my apartment, I opened my laptop. Client emails were waiting. My app was my focus. Now my future. I would not let their crisis drag me down. My apartment in Valencia felt like home. I stood in my living room, running my hand over a new sleek coffee table I had bought with my latest freelance payment. The space was mine, filled with a comfortable sofa, a sturdy desk, and shelves packed with coding manuals and plants. My app had surpassed 15,000 users and I had just landed a consulting gig with a Barcelona startup. Life was good, better than I had ever imagined when I walked away from my family's chaos. One afternoon I scrolled through local news and saw a post about Valeria. Her blog channel had collapsed, demonetized after sponsors pulled out due to her reckless spending scandals. The comments were brutal, criticizing her for fake content and unpaid debts. I felt a flash of pity, but it faded quickly. Valeria had made her choices, just as I had made mine. I logged off, not wanting to dwell on her downfall. Later I learned from a mutual friend that Carlos had left, leaving Mom and Dad to handle the consequences. They had moved to a cramped rental on the outskirts of the city, far from our old house. I did not reach out. Their world was no longer mine. I immersed myself in work, coding late into the night. My balcony glowed under string lights I had hung for inspiration. My latest project, a collaboration tool for remote teams, was gaining traction among beta testers who praised its clean interface. At a tech conference in Seville, I met a group of developers who invited me to join their open source project. We spent hours exchanging ideas over coffee, their enthusiasm fueling mine. I was building a name for myself, not just as a programmer but as someone who could lead, innovate, and inspire. Every client email, every hackathon invitation felt like a step towards something bigger. One afternoon I sat on my sofa with a cup of tea, reflecting on the past year. I had lost my family but gained so much more: freedom, confidence, a community that valued me. The lesson was clear: when your family does not see your worth, you have to choose yourself. I thought of Valeria chasing fame at any cost and mom and dad allowing it until it broke them. I had chosen a different path, one built on my own terms. Thank you for listening to today's story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next story.